So this week we talking about trauma, man. We're gonna talk about trauma, but
Trauma.
yes, sir. It's something a lot of people do not talk about.
At all.
But we're gonna get into it. But we're gonna specifically talk about trauma in your childhood. You know, trauma that children face or that we face as children.
Mhm.
So my question is, why is trauma in early childhood not addressed more? Why do you think that is? Do you think it is addressed enough? Start there.
No, it's definitely not addressed enough. It's something that we don't know how to navigate as humans.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people don't even want their trauma to be put out there. Being in the military, you know, we had these, we talk about SART cases and everything like that. You had restricted and unrestricted reports. You know, restricted reports mean you can't talk about it. Nobody can talk about it. Nothing. You know, if they want to move forward with it, they can, but they don't have to. You know, and I mean, it's definitely a good tool. You know, because people are going to deal with their trauma a little different, but the fact that nobody wants to talk about their trauma. Everybody just wants to just push through because a lot of people don't understand.
Why do you think we have that opinion on trauma? Like, okay, so like think about it. You're a kid. You know what is being told to you to where you feel like you can't address the things that may be traumatic to you. Do you think it's because we don't have a full understanding as children to what trauma is? We're not taught what trauma is?
Yes. And it's the fact that they don't, as children, they don't know how to bring it to you. You know, it starts at the lower level with, hey, mommy and daddy, you know, I'm sad. Or you come to them in a sad manner and they just like, man, what? Like, you good? Like, what's up?
Yeah.
You know? And us as parents, we don't take the time to really try to figure out what's really wrong. You know, it's just that let's get this surface level stuff out of the way. You good? All right, cool. Give me a little hug, you know, be on about your way. But deep down, that child can still be feeling some type of way, and they don't.
Absolutely.
They can be like, okay, yeah, you know, we be like, oh, it wasn't that serious. Man, I do that a lot. You know?
You form your own opinions on how something should affect.
Yes.
You know? And my thing is, like, why is trauma in early childhood not addressed more? I think this is going to be a good one. I think trauma in early childhood is not addressed more because the people raising these kids didn't address their trauma, or their trauma wasn't addressed. So
Facts.
There are a lot of parents out here, I've been through way worse. That's nothing. You know?
I heard that so much.
And they project that on their kids. I myself have found myself kind of like, that's not a big deal. Like,
that's not a big deal,
raised,
right?
You know, you doing too much. You know what I mean? But I think the reason it's not addressed in early childhood is because we as parents, we have to address our trauma. We have to understand trauma, what it is, and what causes trauma. And it is up to us, because the child can't treat themselves. It's up to us to notice it and to give our children what they need in order to cope with whatever it is that may be traumatic to them. You know, an argument between you and your wife and your kid, witnessing that, you know, yelling and screaming and things of that nature could be trauma. You know, when someone yells around them, they could relive that moment of y'all arguing. You know, when y'all having an issue or y'all don't agree on something and your levels rise a little bit, they may be brought right back to that time where y'all got, you know, all the way there. And so now they're living through that mindset of, you know, mommy and daddy are always arguing, or I don't want to be around mommy and daddy when they're arguing. And that's something so simple that we don't notice as trauma in kids. This kid, you know, even if you yell at your child, maybe your kid's response now to being yelled at is to shut down. to feel less than, to feel worthless. So now when he's in school, or he or she is in school, and they're faced with situations where someone is getting on them, they don't have that mental strength to deal with it.
Take it as constructive criticism.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be just from the parents. It could be from teachers at school. And I don't really get it. I think it's just we as the parents and the teachers and the counselors, adults, we have to be more aware and more understand mindful, that trauma is relative. It's not a constant. Everything may not bother you, but it doesn't mean it doesn't bother somebody else. Or everything doesn't affect you, but it doesn't mean it doesn't affect another kid.
Exactly.
So that's how I feel about that.